Hey, what up, Vibe Tribe? Welcome back. I'm your girl, Lovely Vibes, and thank you for tuning into my channel. I really appreciate you guys. And if you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead, take the time now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the Vibe Tribe, you guys, and let's hang out. All right. My returning subscribers, thank you so much for rocking with me and vibing with me and sending me positive and loving vibes. I really appreciate it, and of course, plenty in store for you guys, Vibe Tribe. Thank you so much, and be sure to stick around. Just keep sticking around. Hit that notification bell. That way you'll know each and every time that I post, and I have a news story for you guys, something for you guys to hear, share, just like I'm sharing with you. You know, if you somewhere and you're like, need some talk, just need some little small talk. Some of these stories you can take and, you know, just go ahead and be like, yeah, hey, I know a story. All right, so we're going to get into a story today. You know what I do here. I read short stories during the week, and I come back and I share with you guys and interpret it in my own way. All right, and then we hop in the comment section down below and we talk about it. We keep it respectful though, but we talk about it. So be sure to hop in that comment section below and leave a comment. Okay, you guys, I'm on your favorite parts, your favorite characters, what you like, what you think. Okay, so we're going to go ahead now and we're going to get started with the story. All right, here we go. All right, you guys. So today, the short story that we're going to be covering is called The New Dress, written by Virginia Woolf back in 1927. Okay. Pretty good short story. All right. Lady named Mabel. Mabel has entered into this lovely place. So Mabel Waring, she enters this place, and Miss Barnett, she comes and she's like, hey, and she's trying to direct Mabel to this table of like grooming products, of like, you know, brush, mirror, things like that. So Mabel, she knows instantly that something isn't right. She's like, well, she already knew when she hit the door. She felt like something wasn't right, especially by the way Miss Barnett is acting, right? So Miss Barnett is like showing her to the table and of nice, lovely grooming products. And so Miss Mabel, she hurry up and she goes through the drawing room, right? She goes to the drawing room to the far left corner. And the drawing room back then just meant the living room, okay? So they were in the living room at a party or get together. As Mabel is on her way through the dress room, she runs into Miss Dalloway, who, by the way, is having the party. So she runs into Miss Dalloway and she's like, hey, you know, but she keeps going. And she looks in the mirror and she sees that and confirms that she looks a hot mess. She feels like, oh my gosh, I knew it. I look a hot mess. So at this moment, she's feeling like, oh man, she feeling like she look a mess and feeling stupid and feeling like, why am I here? I know everybody's looking at me like, what do she got on? Look at Mabel, and what is Mabel wearing? Doing all this whispering, you know. So she's really self-conscious about the way that she's dressed now and the way that she looks. And so she's sitting there, and so she starts trying to think of different things to occupy her mind, to keep her mind off the fact that she looks crazy at this party. So when she runs in, so she's trying to take her mind off the fact that she looks crazy. She runs into She runs into Rose Shaw. Rose Shaw is somebody that's known to be in the latest fashion. She just like everybody else, and she's always dressed nice. And so Miss Rose Shaw, you know, comes up to her and she's looking her up and down like, oh, you know, like, you look nice, you know, but saying it in a kind of like a smirkish, mocking type way, you know, but trying to act like she's being nice. So Mabel really wants to just, oh my gosh, really? So she starts thinking of flies. Everybody is flies, and all in this saucer, stuck, trying to just get to the edge with their wings, just milk all over their wings, and they're trying to crawl to the edge of the saucer to get out. But she can't do it. As much as she's been telling herself, okay, I'm a fly. Everybody's a fly. She couldn't. She only saw herself as this fly. She saw everybody else as butterflies, dragonflies, all these beautiful different type of flies, but she was just a regular fly, and everybody else was, you know, fitting in. I guess she felt like she didn't fit in as the fly. I know. So she's like, oh my gosh, she couldn't do it. So she sees only herself as a fly. Everybody else walking around looking pretty, you know, looking nice in their outfits. So she's like, oh my gosh. So she says something to the extent of like, she starts talking about herself and having like this self little pity party to herself. So she says something out loud to where it stops a guy named Robert Hayden in his tracks, you know. So it stops him, and he like kind of catches what she says, and then he's a smart aleck, so he doesn't really say anything that can just like, oh no, you look good, you know. He says something like, it doesn't really say what he says actually, but it's definitely refers to him being a smart aleck and saying something smart. So Mabel gets to the point where she's like, just starts thinking while right after Robert Hayden had said his remarks, you know, she's thinking to herself, well, he's a lie, and what he's saying isn't real, but Miss Million's workroom is actually real, and the young lady who put on this beautiful canary dress, they're like stunning. She looks stunning. So Mabel pictures the young lady in a canary yellow dress that Miss Millen worked really hard for in her dress room, and getting on her hands and knees. She just appreciated Miss Millen so much because she was on her hands and knees with pens in her mouth and pinning up stuff and asking her how she liked it, and gave her the mirror, and she just saw this beautiful, gorgeous, beautiful woman in this dress and was like, didn't even need to stare long, like, this looks great. And so Miss Millen is asking, what size you need the skirt to be, or would you like the dress to be, what length? There we go. She wanted to know what length she wanted her little outfit to be, you know. And she was saying, well, you should go not too long, and talks her into however she cut the dress, right? So she's like, oh my gosh. Her room was just even though it was hot and smelled like cabbage, it was a dream, because Miss Millen, it works hard, and she just appreciated that. Then she's back to reality, snapped out of her daydream, and she's back in the room with everybody else, and where Miss Dalloway had invited her to come to this party. Obviously she needs to be there mentally, you know, or try to be there. You're invited. It's the party. Everybody, especially back then. You know what? House parties were way more fun to me than going out to the club. All right. So anyway, back to the story. So so Mabel she snaps back to reality. She's back at the party. And so she's sinking into herself, trying to think about the flies again. She goes and she looks at a book a fashion book of like her mom's age, like from her mom's youth, that actually a book that her mom had, and she's like looking at this dress in there and these outfits, and she's like, these women look so beautiful. They look great in those dresses, and they look elegant, but she just felt like she looked a mess, because now her dress is a cut from the book. You know, the dress is is a copy from one of those older books. So she's just like, oh, this is useless. It's ugly. And she says something again, but this time she stops somebody. So she stops a guy named Charles Burt in his tracks, which irritates him. He's irritated because he was on his way to talk to somebody else in this drawing room. So he stops. So he was there to talk to somebody else. So when he stops to talk to, so he go ahead and he stops and he listens to Million talking about herself and how she's like outdated, right? This is outdated, and you know, bringing more attention to herself. And so he says something smart, and then he's like, oh, look, Mabel has a new dress. And he starts laughing in the corner with other ladies. Yeah, I know. Like, these are grown people. They're all laughing and sitting in the corner and making fun of somebody. Like, okay. Like, in their face. okay, that's what grown people were doing back then. But anyway, so he goes and he laughs in the corner. So Mabel like kind of like act like she goes on to say something and tries to act like it didn't bother her and it didn't faze her what he said. And at this time, then there is a Miss. At this time, then a Miss Holman enters the drawing room, right? So when Miss Holman enters the drawing room, she keys in on Mabel, comes over and starts talking to Mabel. So when she's talking to Mabel, Mabel's thinking to herself, why did she come over here and start talking to me? Like, I'm not with it today. I don't feel like hearing Miss Holman today. So, and Miss Holman is known for always having problems in her family. Somebody is always sick in the house or broken leg or something. And matter of fact, she came in talking about her son who just had problems, and then her daughter right now has like a broken leg. Right? I'm like, man, lady, woo. That's a lot going on in the house. Like, so she just always have issues. Miss Holmes do. So she's explaining or going into all her issues while she's talking to Mabel. And Mabel's on the couch like, oh, and just listening like, oh, really? Oh no. So, and she's like punching the blue couch she's sitting on because she's probably like, go away. Okay, so while Miss Holman is telling these stories, Mabel finally just like, because she's thinking to herself, this woman loves pity so much, and I just don't have none for her today. I need all the pity, all the compliments, everything that I can get today for myself, because she's obviously struggling with thinking she look a hot mess or feeling like she looks a hot mess in this party and everybody is talking about her in this party. That's how she's feeling. So she really don't want to listen to Miss Holman. And so she goes and starts talking about, how a woman, she's talking about herself, how a woman is, the type of family that she comes from, and how not even her aunties even stay in lodges all over, and they don't ever have like an ocean view or a nice window view, and how they have a family business and it's not succeeding, but it's not failing, and how their older brother, he married beneath him, but not too far beneath him, just talking, and how she would have thought that she would marry some awesome man that was of a prestige character, but that didn't happen, So she's saying all these things, and Miss Holman is looking like, and goes back to telling her story. Miss Holman just starts keep going back. Well, my daughter's leg is broke, this, that, and the other, because obviously Miss Holman must be some type of narcissist. Obviously, like, okay, I don't even care about what you got to say, Mabel. Who asked you to speak, Mabel? We're talking about everything going on in my house. I don't care how you feel, Mabel. But anyway, so Miss Holman goes back into talking about her daughter's broke leg, and Miss Mabel goes into reach into her little coin purse and give her some change. She didn't say coin purse, but she gave her a little change, and Miss Holman is looking at her like it could have been more, and then proceeds to keep talking about her family. And so Miss Mabel is there punching the couch like, I'm just stuck. So while she's punching the couch and Miss Holman is talking, Mabel is looking around and she's thinking to herself like, maybe tomorrow I'll just go get lost into a library, fall into a library, and I'm gonna find me a nice American book by an American pastor, and I'll read and learn new stories and have something to talk about. Or I will just run into some minor and fall into there and start and hear those stories and start working as I guess doing the same thing, a minor. She said, and I'll have a uniform and I'll be somebody. I wouldn't have to worry about what the latest fashion, I guess, or I wouldn't have to worry about how I look. I won't have to worry about Miss Million being on her knees and trying to help me have the best outfits. I don't have to worry about the guy Robert being right or wrong. I don't have to worry about Rose Sharp. She don't have to worry about none of that, and she definitely don't have to deal with Miss Holman anymore. So, I mean, I'm sure she probably see her on the street, but you don't have to, like, it's kind of harder when you're like in a living room or something at a party to get away from somebody that's kind of a toxic person versus, being on the street and they see you and they like, hey, so-and-so. You're like, hey, oh, it's good to see you. And you can like kind of get away from this toxic person versus being at a party. You can be followed around by that toxic person, especially if you're the one that's talking to them. And toxic people know how to find a nice person that is just really trying to bite their tongue. They know it. But anyway, so while she's sitting there thinking, Mabel's sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to just go get me a career, or I'm going to just go do something different. Because she was already thinking about her age, why she's worried about these things at her age. Because obviously she has a few kids and she got a husband and she's, not in her prime like that anymore. So she's like, why was that? Now I'm trying to keep up with this fashion anyway, So while she's thinking that and she's looking at Miss Holman and around the room, she finally gets up and was like, basically like, excuse me, I gotta go. But she's like, well, I have to leave. I have to leave now. I'm gonna go. So Mabel goes to leave, and when she goes to leave, she's passing this Dalloway in the hallway again, and she's like, okay, I had a great time. And in her mind, she's thinking, I'm lying. Because she knows she didn't have a great time. But she's like, I had a great time. So Miss Dalloway was like, it's too early to leave, And she was like, oh, but I must. And then she turns and she thanks Miss Barnett for her help. Because obviously Miss Barnett was not rude when she saw her come in the door and knew she was looking not all together, She just was like, hey, let me direct you to some products. So at least she was trying to help her out. She didn't laugh at her and try to make fun of her. Way to go, Miss Barnett. But Miss Barnett, she thanked her, and as she was thanking her, she was wrapping up her Chinese cloak that she's had for like 20 plus years, and she proceeds to leave. And that is the end of the new dress. And basically the point to me of that, or what I get out of that, is like, don't be trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, and it's not even, to me, it's not even about the age group that she had pointed out in there. It's not about the age group. It wasn't about the snobbish people she was around. It was about the fact that, hey, be you, be who you are. So she was so worried about how they thought that she looked at the party. And she'd spent time to get herself ready. She obviously went and got her dress made up and everything, And then you're going to show up and just have a horrible time. So what? Maybe you thought it looked nice in the moment. At least you don't have crust in your eyes and showing up with bad breath. Now, that is not to say that you should make fun of somebody, but I can see people running away from you and, huddling in the corner and just trying to kind of like, because those are kind of signs that is like, it's not just, it could be something else going on up there. You know what I mean? It could be something else going on up there, and I kind of like want to just, I don't know what's going on, so I want to like stick to what I know and stay safe over here. Not to say that someone is dangerous, but you never know. So you don't want to leave the house like at least not doing the basics, But you don't have to be the most top notch, the most top dressed person that wins awards all the time. You just don't have to be. So that's what I get from the story. Just be you, be who you are. Do what you like to do. Like, first off, when she was kind of putting her husband down in the story, I didn't really like that. She's like, I could have married somebody prestige. Well, why you didn't do it? No. But like, what are you trying to say about your husband? But then again, I don't know. Hey, this a book, but let's say if it was based off a true story, he could be possibly, putting hands on her, beating her or something. She's like later telling people, you know what, I just stuck around for this person. We don't know. But no. But just going off the book without knowing any in-depth detail about her family life, she kind of was really putting her husband down in that story, So, but anyway, back to the point. I say just be you. She shouldn't have, she found out, or she realized that she was too worried about what people thought about her. That's why she ended up finally leaving the party and thinking, you know what, tomorrow I'm gonna just go. I need to change my life. Only you can change your life. That's like, seriously, you have the power to change your life, and that has a lot to do with this story. This story points that out. If you want to do something different, you make the change. You take the step. You turn a new leaf, you know. You work on yourself. It's not up to nobody else, you know. And don't worry about what others think, because everybody don't want to do the same things, you know. Like, obviously she don't want to be dressed like Rose Shaw. She don't want to be worried about fashion like that and staying on top. So do you know? So she went to do her. She thought about it. She said, I'm gonna go do me. I'm thinking about, I'm gonna go do me. But yeah, so that was a short, simple, sweet story. Pretty, yeah, had a pretty good lesson in it. Had something good in it. But yeah. All right, you guys, if you want to check this story out and read it for yourself, this story is on the public domain. You can look it up. Feel free to share the story with friends or whatever when you're having just a girls' night or guys' night or just a couples' night, whatever night. Have fun with it, you guys. Be sure to leave down below your favorite part, your favorite character, because I would say my favorite character is Miss Barnett, because she was just like, I'm not saying nothing. I'll try to help you out, but I'm not saying nothing. If I can't say nothing nice, I won't say nothing at all. I just like Miss Barnett because she was a sweetheart. She tried to help her out. She seen that she showed up not up to what everybody at that party would have thought was up to par. So she tried to help her out. So she was my favorite. And who did I dislike most? The guys. Like, y'all are men. Why are y'all being... All you had to do was give a nice compliment like, oh, maybe you look nice, and keep walking or something. You just had to make it worse. And then go, especially the dude that goes and laugh in the corner with the other ladies. Like, come on, petty. Just petty. But yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think of the story. Leave it down in the comments section below. Your thoughts. And let's exchange. Let's share, you guys. Go ahead. Hop down below. Hit that like button, the thumbs up button. And come back and see me. All right? I hope you guys have a beautiful day, beautiful week. Just a beautiful year. Keep positive vibes, okay? All right, you guys.